We got an intriguing signing to discuss that the Tampa Bay Rays made, and some free agency updates regarding Pete Alonso and Max Scherzer, two of the higher profile names still left out there on the market. So we'll have that and much more coming up on this episode of 3 Up, 3 Down. Welcome in, everybody, to 3 Up, 3 Down. I'm your host, Peter Vrionis, and we got a few tidbits of news that came out around Major League Baseball yesterday. We got a signing, we got a couple of free agency rumors surrounding Pete Alonso and Max Scherzer. So even though it is the quieter part of the offseason and all of the big-time free agents are pretty much off the board, still some intriguing names to go through and to discuss as possibilities elsewhere. But before we get into all of that, make sure to hit that sub button. A large majority of you who are watching these videos aren't subscribed to the channel, so shout out to you guys for all the support. But let's get into it, and this is the signing that I did want to talk about here. Ha-Seong Kim, infielder, and the Tampa Bay Rays are in agreement on a 2-year, $29 million contract that includes an opt-out after the first season. Kim is coming off shoulder surgery, but is expected to return in May and is slated to take over at shortstop. So Ha-Seong Kim had been one of the more interesting names heading into this offseason because we didn't really have a clear vision as to when he would return and what kind of impact he would have when he was able to return. But this much is clear now. He is going to be a Tampa Bay Ray. I mean, the San Diego Padres continue to get gutted after what was a wonderful season last year. They came so close to dethroning the Dodgers, but it wasn't meant to be. And now they're entering this kind of limbo stage where they're rumored to be trading away Michael King eventually. Dylan Cease is on the trade block as well. I mean, there's just they're going in the opposite direction real fast because of those uncertainties surrounding their financials. So Ha-Seong Kim is the latest San Diego Padre to be taking the direction of another team, and now he's going to the Tampa Bay Rays, a squad that not many people are believing in heading into the season, but I think they have a pretty decent infield, at least by the looks of it. I mean, you have Yandy Diaz starting at first base, Brandon Lau, Ha-Seong Kim when he comes back, he's going to be playing shortstop, and Junior Caminero, I don't know if you guys saw that, but he absolutely pimped a home run in the Dominican Summer League. He took about a minute and a half to round the bases. So they did a side-by-side with that minute and a half, and then Jose Altuve hitting an inside the park home run. Altuve hit 3.5 inside the park home runs before Junior Caminero actually touched home plate. So he's having the time of his life. He's playing some great ball in the Dominican Summer League, and he's going to be one of the more exciting names to look out for in the 2025 season, not only from a Tampa Bay Rays perspective, but let's look at it from a fantasy baseball perspective. Junior Caminero could be that guy, and he is as electric as they come, got a ton of power, light tower power, and that infield is definitely going to be formidable. So for a team that is going to not be playing in their stadium, there's a lot of uncertainty surrounding the Tampa Bay Rays. I think they're going to have a pretty good squad because they always manage to put up a good fight even though they don't have all the pieces at their disposal. But Ha-Seong Kim getting added into the fold, especially on a deal, sorry about that, not the right contract, on a deal that is 2 years, $29 million with an opt-out. I think it's smart business by the Tampa Bay Rays. They don't usually spend in free agency, but I think this was the right time to pull the trigger for them. So shout out to the Rays and shout out to Ha-Seong Kim for getting a little bit of insurance despite that shoulder surgery that he went through. Now let's move on to the next topic that I want to get to, and it concerns my Toronto Blue Jays, who are favored for Max Scherzer. So the Blue Jays appear to be the most serious about signing veteran right-hander Max Scherzer, according to MLB.com. Scherzer, who is 40, was limited to just 9 starts last season because of physical issues. He amassed a 3.95 ERA, slightly above league average, and a 4 strikeout to walk ratio. So solid in the limited sample size that we had, but in his last full healthy season, I mean, he ate a lot of innings, and he's a bit of an anomaly. He's been able to stay healthy, and be very effective into his late 30s and hopefully into his early 40s as well. So CBS Sports ranked him as the 12th best free agent entering this winter, anticipating that he would sign a 1-year deal with a high AAV. Now, maybe the Blue Jays defer that because they are over the luxury tax threshold, but this is a I think this is the right move for the Blue Jays to make if they can pull the trigger and if the money is right, because Max Scherzer is not going to clog up a rotation spot for years to come. He's 40. I mean, there's no dancing around that. But what he is going to do is he's going to eat innings if he can stay healthy, and the Blue Jays need a fifth starter. I think Max Scherzer would probably be their number 3 if he was in that rotation, but they need another piece in there. And right now they have 4 reliable starting pitchers, I would say. They need a fifth. And Max Scherzer would be the perfect stopgap option before Trey Savage, before Ricky Tiedemann, before Jake Bloss are ready to make the jump to the major leagues as soon as next season. So this makes sense from a Blue Jays perspective. And we go even further down the line here. Scherzer was restricted to just 9 starts, and he's going to be a Hall of Famer. If you didn't know already, the Blue Jays added Anthony Santander, Andres Jimenez, Jeff Hoffman, and Miles Straw, among others, to their projected roster this winter. So the Blue Jays have been active in free agency. It's not for a lack of trying. They just haven't been able to get any of the top dogs. I mean, Anthony Santander was one of the bigger free agents on the market and definitely something that they desperately needed. So that was a nice signing, but not too much that really jumps out at you besides Santander and Hoffman. And the next thing, Pete Alonso, I spoke about it yesterday. Steve Cohen, he referred to the negotiations as exhausting, and now they've reinitiated those negotiations. So I think it's clear that Pete Alonso wants to be a New York Met. I mean, we heard a lot of buzz about him going to the Toronto Blue Jays, kind of being a package deal with Max Scherzer, but it seems a little less likely as the days roll on here, especially with the New York Mets back in the fold, which is ultimately where I believe he wants to be. And then we look at his stats from last year. His floor is about 35 home runs, which is definitely a great baseline if you're the Blue Jays or any team that is looking to sign him. It's all about the money, though, and Cohen divulged that the Mets had made Alonso a significant offer. Media reports from earlier this month indicated that New York had put forth a 3-year deal around worth $70 million, which is a slightly sweeter version of the 3-year, $60 million deal that Christian Walker signed with the Astros. Now, I believe Pete Alonso is the much better power hitter when we look him side by side with Christian Walker, but Christian Walker offers a lot of value in different areas. So that's where it becomes interesting, and Pete Alonso, I think, is going to go back to the New York Mets, but wouldn't rule out my Toronto Blue Jays in those sweepstakes either. But let me know in the comments down below. 3-part question here in the comments down below. What do you think of the Ha-Seong Kim signing for the Tampa Bay Rays? Do you think they're going to be any good this year? And then Max Scherzer and Pete Alonso, where do they end up signing? Let me know in the comments down below, and I'll see you all tomorrow.